Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Fintech Frenzy. Today, what we have is a fun little story for you guys about SoFi and Galileo, specifically the Galileo platform. And myself just realizing this started yesterday, but I'm starting to realize a bunch of these little tidbits where we're getting to see an amazing point of view of Galileo that we've never seen before. Specifically on their client side and client list. This is very fun. So, one of the things that we see from Galileo all the time, they talk about signing up. Oh, we got 4 clients here, 8 clients here, but we never know exactly who those clients are. They might even go as far as to say that one is a B2B client and another one is a secured card client. Those were the two that they announced in the most recent quarter. We have no idea the names of those clients. Throughout the many quarters that we've been covering this company, I've been able to deep dive and get other pieces of information from people going through terms of service for fintechs that they're signing up in, and actually realizing that Galileo Technologies is amongst the companies that are third parties that they're signing up for as well. So we've learned a couple names and some that you're going to see here as official announcements from SoFi and Galileo now that we had kind of known about earlier. But I also probably learned about anywhere between 15 to 20 new names because of what they released just yesterday. 15 to 20 new clients that I did not know that Galileo had on their thing. I've got a list of all the companies that I've confirmed that they work with, and it's over 100 names now. So let's go in. Let's do a little deep diving here. All right. Let me take you guys to Galileo's website. This, as you guys know, here, let me turn off my dark mode there. That should be better. Okay. Sometimes they will talk about some of the companies that work with them, and this is sort of a first insight into the companies that could work with this business, right? Dave, Moneyline, Monzo, SoFi, North One. We've seen these names before because this is the same website that we've been coming back to over and over. All right. And they also throw in tidbits of other companies as you go through. I don't know if I can find one off the bat. Maybe if I just try to go here, for example, B2B payments. What you'll end up seeing is perfect. Here's a great example. Industry leaders that lean on Galileo. And then they'll have quotes of other businesses that we're learning about. So down at the bottom, Blue Penguin or Global Rewards, right? And they'll just have some interesting quotes from those businesses that now we know these are extra companies that are working with Galileo. So we can track their success, the size of those businesses, see if that's important. For the most part, we've known these companies on Galileo's list for years at this point. Okay. And you can go through a large percentage of all these different tabs and find all these little sneak peeks of different companies that they're working with. That'll probably get you to about 40 names, maybe a little less. Okay. Just going through all of these tabs and finding it. Most people who have been looking into Galileo will know that by now. Okay. Now, they just recently started expanding this into multiple language, just releasing their Portuguese website just a day ago. Okay, so let's go to the Spanish side. We're in the B2B thing. Let me just jump out of this real quick. I just want to go back to the main website. Now, remember what we saw. Monzo, North One, Toast, Lily, SoFi, all those names turn into InDrive, Bold, Fintonic, Aplauso, Credit Club, HSBC, Banco Falabella. You see this? So a lot of these names are names that maybe you guys have not been aware that SoFi is working with these companies. So you can actually start to track their success. And HSBC, unbelievably huge name. From my understanding, they're not actually a card program customer. They are a cloud infrastructure customer. So more on the Technisys side. Okay. Now, If you keep going through, once again, you'll find quotes for more Spanish-speaking businesses within here that you'll find, maybe some Mexican or Colombian businesses or something like this. But the Portuguese one is the newest one. Now look at this. Robinhood, XP, Genial, Itaú, Uala, all of these different businesses, once again, some of these we already did know. Remessa, we found that before this announcement. Robinhood, obviously, there for a while. Itaú, we did know. Maybe you guys might not know that name. They're like the largest legacy bank in Brazil right now. Okay, one of the largest. They're a top 3 for sure. But they're not actually a part of the card program side. Once again, they are a part of the cloud infrastructure side, but still unbelievably amazing. And if you go through, like I said, go through B2B payments or go through some of these other places. Now that one says Blue Penguin and Global Rewards again. Let me see if I can find any in one of the other ones. You have to dig a little bit because you'll just find just written in these words here some snippets, payments and transfers maybe. Anyway, the reason why I wanted this, because it's a lot for me to go through. If you guys want to spend a little bit of time, dig through some of these pages and you'll just end up sneaking and finding a couple other names. I'm not catching any because I'm flying through it, but maybe we'll see some in cryptocurrency. Uphold. There's another new name. Uphold. Let's see. Anything in here? Not that I notice. Uphold, CoinZoom, BitPay. We knew about BitPay, but CoinZoom and Uphold, new names, right? So if you guys go through, you'll find just a couple very interesting new companies. And I'm just starting to go through and break this down, but pretty interesting. So either H&R Block and Claire, we already knew about those. That's nothing in particular or new per se. Yeah, just fun. Interactive Brokers, Wisdom Tree, T. Rowe Price, we already knew about those. Anyway, I'm just having fun with it. You guys can go ahead and break it all down as well. But recap, please. No, there's a whole last bar where you can just zoom back and you get a full recap of everything that I just said in real time. Okay. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? We got 100 Galileo names. Now, I wonder what percentage, because they also say how many clients they have. They say 100 plus. I wonder what that means. How far am I from seeing in some form every single client that they're working with? Because I'm there. I'm there, baby. Like, we're so close. So I'd love to know which ones I'm missing. We got the SoFi Weekly in just a little bit. So at 10 o'clock, I think Tevis and Roy will be there. Maybe Steve, hopefully. I just noticed that they stopped mentioning flywheel in the earnings. Maybe that means the flywheel is already in effect. I don't know. Nubank, what they do a lot is they'll talk about, their total addressable market in their earnings call at one point, and then in another earnings call they'll talk about their list of partners that they work with, but they won't do it on the same, or they won't do them all in the same earnings call. They'll break them up. So maybe that's sort of what SoFi is doing, that they don't want to make the presentations 100 pages long, and they're being selective about what they're showing. Galileo has to be a big part of Q3. I mean, maybe. I haven't, every client that I've seen sign on to the platform is exclusively Latin American lately. It's kind of interesting. And then they launched the Portuguese website. So maybe they're just going full force there because there's a ton of opportunity. But yeah, I don't know how big it's going to be in Q3 versus Q4. If they're going to make up for that 18% growth, we've already seen 2 quarters down. We got to see some level of growth here, but yeah. Did they pull back the curtain? Absolutely. Absolutely, they did. I feel like I can see almost every single one of their clients now. I don't know which one I'm missing. Even extremely large legacy banks, we get to know that they're working with them. If they do sign a Citigroup or a Bank of America, well, no, I don't think Bank of America, but if they sign a Citigroup, if they sign a Wells Fargo, really think it's Citigroup considering the problems that they just got in with their, not securing their data very well and all that crap that they just got fined for. I think it'll be them. I think we'll know. I don't think that they'll tell us directly. I think that their website will say, hey, we work with the likes of Citigroup and Itaú and HSBC. Those are all big names that would have, some form of non-disclosure agreement in place to say, hey, don't talk about us on your earnings calls or something like this, but yet it's still able to be talked about on their website for marketing purposes. I don't know. I'm sure you've already said it, but what's the one thing or few things SoFi needs to do for investors to flood in? Uh, Grow faster? I don't know. I don't think that there's a formula that they're missing. Um, it's a whole myriad of things. I think people want margins to expand while revenue's expanding and new clients are coming in, sales and marketing is going down. Like I think there's no real formula, just better performance overall. Citigroup just increased their stake in SoFi by a lot. Maybe they're pleased with what Galileo is offering them. Hey, that could be a thing. I didn't actually see that. Bring Miguel Santos on here. So we heard specifically from him that he said that SoFi has said no. So I think it's a no. Feeling very American today, ladies and gentlemen. Had Chick-fil-A for dinner. Good stuff. Thank you guys for bringing it up north. Please read my comment. What's your comment? Do you get the same feeling I get when Robinhood CEO does an interview? Feels so Apple-ish, and one day this could be a $1 trillion company, so professional. I mean, it's a possibility for sure in terms of the size. $1 trillion from where they are is a hard reach for me. But yeah, I'm not going to leave it like, I'm not going to write it off. In a very long time, maybe it's there, but it's not happening this decade, that's for sure. You need an In-N-Out up there? I've never tried it. Isn't that a Texas joint? Isn't that, or, yeah, I think it's Texas that only has that. Or is that California? I forget. Or am I thinking of Whataburger? I know that's another state-specific one that everyone freaks out about. Texas is Whataburger. California is In-N-Out. Okay. Got you. Got you. Well, you guys should try Tim Hortons because it's shit. You caught me live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, John and I Rock. I went to Canada recently. I liked Tim Hortons. No, you didn't. You're tricking yourself because you had a tourist experience. It's god awful. Ooh. I have been a longtime fan of your streams, and now I work in banking partly due to the knowledge I learned on my stock research journey. That's awesome, man. That's actually how I got in finance as well, as I was just really passionate about markets, and then that led me to get into finance. Yeah. When are we going to get to 13, 14? I mean, I think that it has to do with rate cuts. As rates get cut, their entire balance sheet's going to look so freaking nice. So maybe depending on how fast or aggressively rates get cut without the overall market not deteriorating for some reason, that's a tricky balance, right? It's how fast are rates going to end up getting cut, and why would they do that if the consumer is still good? It's not looking like that's going to be a strong or a high chance outcome. So maybe a bit, but I do think that the stock will get repriced eventually. I don't know exactly when that happens. That could be this quarter, Q3, 4 consecutive quarters of profitability. That's going to put this stock on a ton of new investors' maps. And I don't think that that's going to happen the day that they get profitability. I think anyone that's looking at the stock right now knows that it's going to get profitability. I think that it's over time, right? One thing I'm not a big fan of screeners, but investors are. Okay. And maybe this just puts SoFi on the map for more and more users. And more institutional users that are also doing similar things, needing those types of objectives to invest in companies. Like, for example, tons of funds need a company to be a profitable business. Whether that is a cumulative effort over the last 4 quarters or the past 4 quarters have to be profitable, maybe those are two different things. So, yeah, can I invest or can I interview Derek White? Probably not. Honestly, I have been reaching out to many people since this Vlad interview and getting a lot of yeses. I am so stoked for the lineup that I'm going to have for you guys. SoFi, not a thing. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. Okay. But yeah, they're focused on the company. What's the toots percent? I think it's over 45% now. I think it was last time DDI shared it, it was like 45.04%, which is the highest it's been. Let me check for you. Yes, it's 45.5%, the highest that it's been in company history. Keep it climbing. Gotta like that tweet. So, yeah, stop being little baby hands because there are investors that are piling in. Well, I mean, hey, you sell your stock. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That could be better for your portfolio. It doesn't mean that SoFi is the next largest win. But I see this as a stock that continues to compound. It's seemingly that, 10 million users are right around the corner. And I remember talking about this company whenever it had like 5. I think over the course of, the next little bit, we'll be at 20 million users very fast. And what you're seeing from a lot of other fintechs is that they're really just not compounding users anymore. So, Robinhood's starting to reaccelerate user counts, and even that's not growing nearly as fast as SoFi's is, even though they have a much larger base. And that includes churned and resurrected accounts. They would count that as a new client. They're not growing as fast as SoFi's new client growth. And also would include like a Cash App, like a what would be another one? Venmo, like these companies that could grow so much, but they're actually kind of slowing. They're not kind of slowing. They are definitely slowing comparatively to the growths that we've seen in prior years. Who cares about price when fundamentals going up? I think a lot of people laugh at this, but like I'm genuinely in this camp. I couldn't care. It will go up. I know that for a fact. Okay. And now it gets to a point where I got to bring it up because there was a bunch of Nubank haters, but we are just on consistent new all-time highs for this company. And it's very, very exciting to see. And whenever I was first talking about this company, there were so many haters in the chat talking about how this stock does not break $7 a share, right? This was probably around this price right here as well. If I can zoom out, it was stuck in this little trench for a long period of time. And a lot of people are starting to get very frustrated. And now people who want to get in have no opportunity to get in. And that's just the way the market is. Over the last year, the stock's up 72.57%. Year to date, 68%. Things are year to date, 70.8%. Sorry. Things are looking juicy juice. All right. Very awesome. That's got to be one of the coolest fintechs. Not even I got to stop calling it a fintech. That's got to be one of the coolest companies I've ever looked at. Ever is Nubank. Love my new. I just got Chick-fil-A. Nice. For better or for worse, we care about fundamentals over price. I mean, it's definitely for better. Like, it's such small periods of time that we're getting paused in, and this is also why we don't fixate on one specific stock, or why I try to advocate to do a little bit of diversification is because it's a lot easier to stomach whenever it's not your entire portfolio. Now, whenever your entire portfolio is stuck in a stock that is working, then you feel like a genius. But, luck of the draw, I guess. Like, if they're fundamentally doing good and you're not being diluted to shit, the market cap should go up. If it's not doing that, then that means that the valuation is getting cheaper. And at some point, the valuation at the start, whenever you're first looking at it, was either more expensive comparatively to the comps, and it's going back down to the comps, or it's becoming the cheapest valuation that you can buy that stock at. And whenever you're looking at SoFi, it's not being priced like a fintech. It's growing like a fintech, if not a great, version of those companies. And yet, every quarter, it's seemingly looking like a better price than it was before. So, it's a weird feeling, but definitely leaves room for opportunities. I love the SoFi CEO, but when you listen to Robinhood, you don't get the repeating speech over and over before he answers a question. It sounds more realistic and reliable and truthful. You know what I think it is from Noto is a strategy on building brand awareness. I think that, and I think it's smart. Whenever he joins CNBC or MSNBC or any of these platforms, what he's saying is, this is our company. This is what we do, because a large bulk of you guys can be on this platform and not know us at all. So he's taking the first couple minutes out of every interview to readdress what our company does to build that brand awareness. I think it's very thought through, right? Where, especially the conversation with Vlad, I wanted, and you do see this repeat speech from Vlad. I mean, I've seen every conversation of Vlad getting ready for that conversation. He talks about the free commission trading. He talks about, all the different features that the company can offer to retail investors. What I tried to do was immediately pull him out of that and talk about questions that I had. So I think if Anthony Noto did come on this podcast, that it would be a very similar event. I wouldn't ask anything that would lead him down a road to repeat what we already know. But yeah. I feel that Vlad is reactive to questions instead of as planned, 100%. So I sent them a list of questions that I was going to say, and then pretty quickly went off script from that. And he didn't seem phased by it at all. He was answering the questions as if they were questions that were like 100%, because there would be no way to prepare for something that I didn't tell them I was going to talk about. It was just a straight up open conversation. So yeah. Yeah, it's free marketing for Noto. That's also why I don't think that he wants to come on this podcast, is because it's not, I mean, no offense, but there's 270 people watching versus a couple multi-thousand, and also, or even tens of thousands, but also it's already SoFi people. I like how there's a single guy that has an account for David Velez and Anthony Noto, and he's talking amongst himself here to it's just such a crazy audience that we have. All right. Tanner, in Q3, will we have one full year of making a profit? Yes. Yeah. GAAP net income uh, for 4 straight quarters. And one of the largest drags is that if you remember Q3 of 2023, there was massive write-offs for Galileo and Technisys, which was also, I said this whenever it happened, man, they did that specifically on purpose to make their balance sheet look just a little bit better right before they end up getting into profitability, because that was a dump quarter. Okay. They were already going to be on a non-GAAP basis at a loss of about $19.5 million. So why not dump an extra 250 million there? But that means that right now, if you look at the full year, inclusive of the GAAP numbers, not the actual 20 million loss, but the GAAP numbers, were still in quite a loss. Okay. Whereas the next quarter is going to kick off 250 million. And then we're also going to expect to see 40-50 million dollars positive on the GAAP net income side. It's going to be a massive swing in terms of, either algorithms or any of these things that are looking at just sheer numbers of the company. It's going to give it quite the boost, right? Question: what's the difference between Technisys and Galileo? So they are officially the same company. They're both Galileo. I can show you this on their website just really quick. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. This is all Galileo. Okay. You got B2B payments, cryptocurrency, all these card program things, whether you are an investing company like, for example, Interactive Brokers, the unspent cash that they have inside those accounts, you can use a debit MasterCard to end up using those payments, right? They'll show you all the data analytics and fraud protection and all this stuff that they need to get a card program up and running, meaning you have a balance or an amount of credit, and then your spending limits and how much they will have in rewards and cash back and all that stuff can be managed on their side of the business. You see this? This is the dashboard that they're offering Galileo clients on the Galileo side. The Technisys side is where we get into cloud infrastructure and banking core technology. Okay. So although you're building these card programs, there's also a complete back end of the business. The actual like infrastructure of the bank that needs Technisys's help. Okay. And now this is actually what Galileo does, and they can offer this to as large companies that it can get. But they're complementary. They're not competitive, if that makes sense. Yeah. What's your favorite sports team? I legitimately don't have one. I don't have one. Is Robinhood still a client of Galileo? So I can get you an answer for that. Let's go. Let's go back to the website. We'll go to Portuguese. I think it's on Portuguese. It's on Portuguese or Robinhood right there. This says like our innovative companies that trust Galileo or use Galileo. Robinhood's right there. Right there. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What's your favorite non-sports team? I don't know. I've got no clue. Yeah, I don't know. What percentage of SoFi is owned by institutions? We already said that, 45%. How many people work at Galileo? I consider it vaporware until they start bringing in a lot more money. What do you consider vaporware? Like, do you mean not meaningful to the business? Is that what you're saying? Because I still think like $100 million a quarter isn't bad. I mean, it's not growing the way that we want it to. It's definitely, you can't call it the AWS of SoFi's business, right? Growing faster than their core business model, high margins. That's not what it is. Not right now. But it could be. It could be. Maybe. Yeah, the team behind Nubank might be my my favorite non-sports team. What? All right. Can SoFi buy Shift Forward? No. What would a merge look like between the two? No, that wouldn't exist. I love both companies, but sometimes that just can't happen. And my favorite team is some charts team. Favorite article of clothing. So my favorite brand of clothing is Adidas. Favorite dipping sauce. All right, I think that's time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.